Did she just let her out or something? She don't make shit go very far. Yeah.
Can you hear me okay right now?
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Starting now. For 2017, week 1, we're going to try a audio recap of the week prior as opposed to a written recap. I have Ben Cover here with me. Say hi.
Hello, everybody.
Ben, what's your team name in this league?
2 girlies, 1 cup.
And how many watches do you have?
How many watches? I have 1 championship watch.
That's excellent. I also have 1 championship watch in 2008. Evan, how many championship watches do you have?
None yet. Two
Okay.
second place.
A couple second places. Is Zeke going to win you one this year? Or ever?
Eventually, we'll get there.
I hope not. For Dallas's sake.
Second that.
I hope they fail constantly. So we're going to try this for a few weeks. Hopefully for the entire season. Maybe moving forward. We'll see where it goes. Do we have someone dialing in? Is that Matt?
Looks like McLean's trying to dial in.
Alright, he'll keep trying. So, obviously we have 3 participants right now and possibly a 4th. It's Ben, Comfort, Evan Dobler. Evan, what's your team name?
Winston is coming.
Sure is. And Matt's trying to dial in too. He'll introduce himself if we ever get to hear from him. So far in this week, we've got some interesting results. Ben, you want to start with your team there?
Yeah.
Well, wait a sec.
Oh, Matt.
What do we got here? Matt? Hello? All right. Matt? So we may or may not hear from Matt at some point. He might just interject at various moments. Whenever technology allows. So Ben, in week 1, you had the task of taking on... Who was it? Let me pull it up here.
Jack Fumbles.
Yes, of course. So you took on Jim. Jim was one of the consensus top teams in the league coming into the season. He had an excellent starting roster. Tom Brady, Michael Thomas, Le'Veon Bell, Lamar Miller, Jordan Reed. He traded up with Evan. Evan, what did you think about that trade when you made it? He traded up into the 4th, right?
I can hear you guys.
Can you hear us? I can hear you. Matt?
Hey, ready!
Do we see him or just hear him?
He flashed up like real quick again, and then like he cut in and out.
Yeah. It's that internet connection out there in Warrensville.
Out the hill, yeah.
What do you think about that?
He's using AOL dial-up, I think, right now.
Is that all they have out there? Well, Evan, what do you think of that trade you made with Jim? Obviously, you think you won that trade, I'm assuming?
Yeah, obviously, I think I won. That's why I did the trade. But I just didn't find the value to be there at that time, and I thought I could get value later in the draft.
You know, I pulled that up. That's what I thought too at first. I thought, no, Evan's definitely winning this. He's getting a lot of picks later, quantity versus quality, and how much quality do we get in the 4th round of this draft anyway? But you plug that trade into one of those calculators online, and who knows, but it did pull that a trade win for Jim, oddly enough. And then you think about it, he's getting the top tight end in the league for, who'd you get later? Maybe Marlon Mack
I have to go back and look at the
Right,
exact.
someone up to that caliber. So it's it was definitely in the end, I think that was a pretty even trade, but it didn't work out for him in week one. Jordan Reed out there scored 3.6, and he got the loss. He dropped the Rams defense, which ended up putting up what 30 plus week one, and he picked up your boy Bennett, your backup, uh, Curly. Is that his name? Not Curly. I don't even know his name. Who's the backup running back in Arizona?
Kerwin
Kerwin
Williams.
Williams. Kerwin Williams. They have Andre Ellington too. They also just picked up DJ Foster off of I believe the Patriots practice squad. Yeah. So that's going to be a mess in Arizona, running back wise, and I'm going to stay completely away from that.
Well,
even though I am the DJ owner, yeah, that's a mess.
Is this the only league you have DJ in? Do you have him in other leagues or?
Only league I have him in, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Out of like 9 or 10 leagues, yeah.
It looked like last year anyway. Early on, Carson Palmer fell off quite a bit. I guess he ended the season pretty strong, but without David Johnson in the second half of that game, I didn't see it, but from what I read, he fell apart. I don't have a lot of hope for that offense.
Well, you got to understand the amount of yardage and what David Johnson did last year. I mean, he put up 15 straight games of over 100 yards from scrimmage. Some of those games were closer to like 200.
And how many touchdowns? Like 18?
Yeah, it was
absurd.
Yeah, it was almost like one per game he was averaging, I think. So think about that weapon coming out of that offense, and now they're going to rely on, some young
John Brown
and Fitzgerald, who's obviously past his prime, not still a good receiver though, but
right.
I don't see it. Don't see much happening out there.
Well, Bruce Arians, I guess we'll find out. See if he can pull one.
Hello, welcome to Skype call testing service. After the beep, please record a message. Afterwards, your message will be played back to you.
That's got to be McLean.
David Johnson, 20 touchdowns last year.
David Johnson had 20 touchdowns last year.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That boy!
Yep. That stat douche coming in with the David Johnson touchdown.
That's great stats by you, buddy.
Yep.
Speaking of stats, let's get into that a little bit. So, we were talking about a little bit back and forth in the group messaging on the GroupMe app. This is a pretty pathetic NFL week. I think Ben, you had specifically said a few things. So we did go back and we took a look at some of the stats over the last course of week ones since 2008, in the modern era. The least amount of points scored in week one was 1,151 and some change. That was 2008, the very first year. It seems a trend up generally since then, with the high being in about 2014 or so. 1433 scored there. But this is the second lowest scoring week easily since we started there. 1151 was the lowest. This one was 1160. So it missed by about 8 or 9 points overall. So I think there was an assumption coming into it that this was pretty pathetic. It looked that way, it felt that way, and that sort of back that up.
Yeah, I'm not sure really what the reason is. I mean, the games were just watching what I saw this weekend, game wise. I don't know. It just didn't seem like there was very good football being played. It was just very erratic. And I think when stuff like that, like fantasy wise, you had some guys that really had some really high scores, some top scores, but then everything else just kind of dropped off.
Yeah.
Not a lot of like in between scores.
I heard a couple explanations on podcasts. I don't know if they hold true, but there was one. I think it was Football Guys podcast. And I can't remember the host of that one, but the idea there was that the NFL, the players themselves, they play maybe 2 quarters in the preseason anymore together as a team. Coming into week one, it doesn't look like NFL football necessarily. It's like everyone's trying to just get their legs under them. The offenses aren't clicking. The GOAT even looked a little rusty on Thursday night. So
the goat looked terrible on Thursday night. Let's just play it. Let's just keep it plain. I mean, and simple.
He's gonna fall off a cliff.
No way. Yeah. You think so? This
Matt
year?
Keller, boy, falling off a cliff.
I agree. I think that Brady's been so protected over the years, that he's been able to put up the numbers and win like he has. If they can't protect him, I don't see it. I mean, I don't see the success that they've had. Can't stay protected in the pocket. He's not mobile enough to get out of the way. I can't really say that his arm strength's where it used to be. Just lost. Who do you lose? Edelman's out now, right?
Yeah, that last time they said, and maybe you're losing this, the last time that he sort of, what was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Everybody thought he was done. Bill Belichick was saying next game on to Cincinnati. Was that phrase he was repeating? Looked like his arm had fallen off and he was done. And that was Edelman out. Edelman comes back and suddenly he looks like a new guy. He has this resurgence. Yeah. Nobody remembers, right? So, maybe it had something to do with it. Maybe it is Edelman. Maybe that security blanket's missing. You think Gronk could be that guy, but...
Yeah, the problem is Gronk. I think we can all say Gronk's not going to stay healthy. There was even a couple times in that game he got up kind of slow. It seemed like to me, So, I mean, he had what? Didn't he had back surgery, right?
Yeah, it seems like every year he has back surgery.
Like that's kind of a major thing to be having.
Yeah, but he's got Tom Brady's trainer now. So.
Yeah, so. I mean, time will tell. We'll see. I just don't see it for the Patriots this year. I don't see it.
Did you hear supposedly he stopped drinking in the off season? He's now a teetotaler.
That would be good if he good for your body. As an athlete, watch what you're into it.
Not avocado cream though.
He's what?
It's not avocado ice cream. Isn't that Tom Brady?
Oh, that's what he eats. Sounds delicious, actually. Mix that with some berries. It's a winning combination.
Oh, he better eat gallons of that shit because that performance Thursday night isn't going to get it cut.
Probably uses it for his hair too. So shiny and beautiful.
Right.
Not that I'm jealous. So the highest scoring team this week went to Tom Major, Chad Elliott. They put up 140 plus. Now, if you were to guess, from a week to week, or actually, let me put it this way. How often do you think the team that has the highest points in week one goes on to make the playoffs?
50% of the time.
Ben?
I'm going to say less than 50%.
Ben, Evan's dead on. It is actually 50% of the time. Happens 4 out of the 8 times.
Happens with stat douche.
Yeah, when you're stat douche, you know that stuff.
Great job. Do you know the only manager to have the highest scoring team in week one and go on to win the title?
I know it's not me.
I can give you that's accurate.
I'm going to say Goldman.
I can give you the year.
What's the year?
2013.
Tom Chad.
No.
Oh.
He won't say my name.
No.
It's Ben Comfort.
What did I score that week?
Actually, I don't have the number up.
Yeah, pretty sure I won that year.
I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up the end here.
Yeah.
Ben.
Yeah, as soon as you said the year, obviously I know it because it's imprinted on the back of my championship watch.
That it is.
Around
Do you know the only highest scoring team in week one? The highest scoring team in week one. The only team to go on and finish last.
Well, I know that's not me either.
No last place finishes for you.
I've never finished last.
Actually, I think I finished last one year, but I don't know what I scored that week in the first week.
It was Matt in 2015.
Borowski or McLean?
McLean, sorry. Yeah. You
15.
know that we have two Matts now.
Yeah, scored. So Matt, he scored the most points in week one and finished last place.
2015, and then 2016. Obviously, he went on to win it. He went worst to first. The mean is 8th. The median is 8th. It's basically a 50-50 shot if you go on and if you're the highest scoring team that win. What about winning in week one? Do you think that's better or worse or the same? If you win in week one, you're shot at making playoffs.
I think in our league it's huge because how many times have teams got in at 6 and 7 with a 6 and 7 record? I mean, the year I won it, I came in with a 6 and 7 record.
Yeah.
So just getting that one win, if I can squeak out 5 more, I have a chance to make the playoffs.
You're absolutely right.
Based off of point totals, probably there's probably going to be a tiebreaker, and my 53 points this week isn't going to help that. But a win's a win, especially with DJ going down.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's going to be. I mean, the value of one win is incalculable. But I can tell you for week one, it is calculable. It's 2 and 3. So you win week one, you got about Yep. It's almost exactly 2 and 3.
I like that percentage. I like those odds.
For every 2 and 3, there's that 1 and 3. So.
Right.
Who is it gonna be? I have a couple other stats I can toss out there. Right now. Or we can talk about them later. Do you think there's any correlation between the number of keepers you have to start a season, or heading into the draft, I should say, and the number or the chances of making playoffs, I should say?
So you're saying if you have
if
4
you have,
keepers,
if you have more
should
keepers, do you have a better chance?
Making the playoffs.
Or if you have any keepers, do you have a better chance? If you have 0 keepers, do you think you have less of a chance?
I'm going to say in our league, I don't know if the keepers matter because with how shallow our benches are and with 16 teams, it's basically whose team can stay the healthiest, really.
Sure.
That's what I've seen over the past. Not to say that that's correct, but that's the way that I view it. I mean, it seems like the team that even if you have average players, if they're healthy and they're getting you those points and you're not throwing out duds every week, you're going to have a better success or a higher success rate.
Evan, would you agree with that?
I think, I generally agree with that. I think that the keepers don't necessarily matter too much.
You're not wrong.
Less keepers.
Ben, you're definitely right. So it doesn't matter. It's almost 50-50. So if you have any keepers at all, you have about a 49% chance of making playoffs. That's, margin of error 50-50. If you have multiple keepers, 50%, almost exactly. And if you have 1 or less keepers, almost like you have 1 or less keepers, you have a slightly better chance. You have a 52% chance of making playoffs.
Okay. So there's really nothing really stands out there.
But if you break it down to the actual number of keepers themselves, the chances of making playoffs with 4 keepers is exactly the same as keeping 0. It's 57% for each. It's a less of a sample size with keeping no keepers. Usually people keep someone at least.
Right.
But nevertheless, exactly the same as far as percentage. In between there, the actually least likelihood of making playoffs, 2 keepers. Which
but that's
I
still
kept this year.
50% though, right?
Hold on, Julio.
30%.
Oh, 30%. Okay.
Only 20 instances of that happening, but still. The most, and I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. More teams keep 4 than any other, not combined, but any other individual number or single number. So 37 teams kept 4, 29 kept 3, and it goes down from there for the most part.
That's interesting to know.
As far as the draft this year, any thoughts? Did you think any of the rankings were out of sorts? So I put Jim and McLean at the top there. I think Broski and Justin at the towards the bottom there. Evan, I think you were towards the bottom, mainly because Zeke was supposed to be out. You lucky bastard.
Actually, I think Broski's team's not that bad. Other than maybe a couple questionable calls on some graphics with Latavius Murray when players like Devin Coleman and Garrett Blount were still on the table. But I was pretty fond of Broski's team.
Yeah, Broski started off pretty strong, I thought. But like Evan, I agree with Evan. There were a couple. I think he really could have bolstered his squad a bit with 1 or 2 better picks at certain times.
I just didn't think Mixon was going to see the field that much. But it sounds like they're going to give him the load, and if they keep losing, what's the point of? Or do you think it would go the other way? Do you think they start losing? Do you think they just shut him down, or do you think they just run him wild?
The problem is they don't have an O-line right now, so no running going to succeed there until they fix that. And I don't think that's. I mean, they had all offseason to fix that, and they sent offensive linemen away and didn't really, secure anything real solid. But I don't know. That's kind of a quagmire right now. You got Jeremy Hill, who's had 28 touchdowns in his first 3 seasons, and not a lot of running backs can say that. Although his yards per carry average is only like 3.1, which isn't good, but Gio's been hurt. I think Gio's a great 3rd down passing back. He can work out of the slot, but again, I mean, if their O-line's not going to protect the quarterback, that offense is in shambles. There might be, you might see some garbage time. Like I would say the receivers might benefit a bit. Kind of how Blake Bortles, kind of did well. Yeah, because it was all his stuff was garbage time for those first couple of years.
Right.
They were playing from behind, and he was putting up huge numbers just because defenses could allow him basically to score because they were up by so much.
Well, you're not going to press when you're up, right? So.
Oh yeah, I mean there's sense. Yeah, I mean, could AJ Green have a big season because he's catching, 2 late 4th quarter touchdowns every game because they're down, 3 scores? I don't know. But the running game, I don't see anything happening there that's going to be anything fantastic.
Broski also has Thomas Rawls. He's in quite the crowded backfield there in Seattle as well. You got Lacey,
That's
Carson
as well.
Chris Carson's the guy to own going forward.
Yeah, going forward, I'm not saying this year. I think it's such a muddled backfield right now. I don't think any of them did anything over the weekend, really. From what I saw or read, it was just not good.
It's 4 legit backs. end up.
Yeah, I mean Rawls, Lacey, Carson, and Procise. Yeah, I mean it's fantasy wise, you almost have to stay away from it. You know, if you're in a dynasty league where you can kind of stash players and keep them, like Evan said, I think Carson's your guy that you wanna stick with and give him a season or two. But as for a redraft league or even like a keeper league with shallow rosters, I'd stay completely away from that backfield.
I mean, I actually agree with the latter. I would stay away. I like Chris Carson. I thought coming into the draft that he ran hard. He was the guy. If I were to pick a guy who was going to be Jordan Howard this year, it would have been Chris Carson. But landing in Seattle, I just thought in the 7th round, no less, that guy was just going to disappear. That there was no chance. The likelihood of even making the squad was minimal. But sure enough, this guy comes in here and just he was 1B this week. I know Rawls was out, but I guess that's if you're gonna make a roster in the NFL, it's got to be Chris Carson, right? Or as a running back. If you're a late round pick, I should qualify that.
Yeah.
Rawls is still the number one. Lacey, I haven't seen him, but everything I read is just he sounds like he's not doing well.
But the question is, and I don't know much. Obviously, I know more about the Bengals because that's my team. But
Right.
is there an issue with the Seahawks O line as well? I mean, I don't know.
That supposedly
Russell Wilson was light the other night.
Yeah, so that's I mean, that's another thing. Like, I mean, it just
Pro Football Focus said that he had improved, but
got a committee backfield. Like, just stay away. You're gonna have to find points elsewhere.
they were definitely one of the lowest ranked.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
They can.
Hey, Matt.
Up, sexy.
Welcome to the conversation.
Fucking phone.
Doctor.
20 minutes in.
Can you hear us, Matt?
Still there?
Oh, here we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly. Coming in nice. That's
I don't
smooth,
see
silky
anything.
voice of yours.
You don't need to see us. You don't need to see us.
We're just recording it.
I see a wood.
That's me. There's Alan.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna strip the video so people don't have to see the light behind me reflect off my bald head onto this monitor.
With the audio. So Matt, I'll bring you into what Alan was we were talking about. The Seattle Seahawks backfield. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. They've got Rawls, Lacey, Procise, and the biggest name that's been going around is Chris Carson. And we were just kind of talking about the Seattle's O-line's terrible too. So we've all kind of agreed that their backfield we should stay away from. What are your thoughts?
Before we get to that, though, Matt McLean, your team name is... I'll say it for you. I got to have more bell cow. Starting out 1-0. And you are a defending champion. Would that all be accurate? We've lost Matt.
Yes.
Okay, there he is.
This shit is like going in and out of me. I'm on a hot spot. I'm not gonna get much.
All right. Well, do you have any? Do you wanna come hard and? Yeah.
Are you guys seeing me?
You wanna?
Do you see me?
No, I can't see you. I can hear you though.
What do you see?
I just want to know: do you want to come hard?
Like wins?
I can't see you. It's sort of blinking your connection. I can hear you. I think most of the
Oh wait, did I just see?
Oh, you
Did
gotta
I
go
just
down.
see Dobler?
Yes, you did. Dobler's here as well. So it's Evan, Ben, me, you. Ignore his vulgar gestures. Unless you have some of your own.
Melvin.
So would you say that you like your team this year or love your team this year?
It's tough to get better than what I put up last year, but I expect an improvement on last year's numbers.
So who would you say your favorite rookie is this year?
And for the record, we will not tolerate any of my players beating women.
Is that a shot at Broski? Mixon?
Or kneeling for the national anthem.
So Kirk Cousins starts kneeling. You're gonna kick him to the road, to the curb.
Correct.
That's well, that's Bill Belichick right there.
For next week's topic train, can we include a discussion on owners' feelings on players kneeling during the national anthem?
Yeah, I think next week we're just gonna start a hate fest on everything. Players kneeling, owners.
Domestic violence.
We could talk about. It's not a laughing matter. Domestic violence. We could certainly have that conversation in the NFL. Tanking. We could talk about punishments for last place. Just anger and hate.
Ben, did you win this week?
Actually, yes, I did. We were talking about that earlier. I believe Alan, I had the second lowest winning score in history.
Yeah, we didn't state that fact, but that's accurate. Second or third?
What a stat that is!
Right? Andy Dalton came in with a solid 1 point for me, and I beat Jack Fumbles by almost about a little over 9 points.
I'm assuming Jack Fumbles, being that he had Le'Veon and Brady,
Now,
was a projected winner.
What do you do with Zeke right now?
You play him every week, right? What you think, Evan?
Yeah.
What are you doing with Zeke now? Matt wants to know.
He's cleared to play for a while now until they suspend him. They put a stop on that suspension. He'll end up being like Brady, where he's going to go the whole year play, and then he's going to have to sit out at the beginning of next year. Man.
The epic year?
Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
We might have to talk about that next week or
Zeke on the block.
Yeah, the epic year. That could be a whole new. That would be a 1 week discussion. The epic year.
Yeah, early on, there's a lot more statistics, but we can do that.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm breaking. I need to change the wireless hotspot.
Well, we'll probably close out here soon. Do you want to talk about your next week's matchup? Just let me. How do you feel about that win? Potential.
It's a win. A win is a win.
Next week you're going up against who? Let's see.
Dirk Hall versus I got Cowbell.
Brother versus brother.
Bro versus bro.
Now
he got fucked this week.
Oh, his team just fell apart.
Dalvin showing out.
Yeah, Dalvin looks like I hate Dalvin Cook, but he's going to succeed in the NFL. He looked good last week.
Matt, here's a question for you. As I see that you've got one of your keepers, Jordan Howard, that's going to be steady guy in your lineup. Does the name Tariq Cohen scare you at all? Considering Jordan Howard did drop the game-winning touchdown on the goal line.
I saw that, and Jordan has been put on notice that Alvin Kamara will be stepping in shortly if he does not start performing.
Oh, so you've got a backup plan.
It's a
I would be worried
on that team.
Tariq Cohen and I think Jordan Howard are going to be seeing a 50-50 split is what you're going to see. And here's what's gonna help Tariq Cohen is the Bears have no wide receivers that are probably fantasy worthy right now. Tariq will probably end the season as their number one receiver if he stays healthy.
You got Tariq on your team?
I have him on 8 in 8 of my teams. May have grabbed a gold mine.
The guy will certainly produce this year.
Yeah.
He's like 172 and change, you know?
Did you see him play? You can't tackle a guy you can't catch.
Ben,
he does look
thoughts
electric.
On Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara? I'm not sure I'm sold on Alvin Kamara. That backfield is a mess because you see Adrian Peterson wasn't too happy last night.
Yelling.
I heard shouted at the old ball coach there and then pushed him in the locker room.
Wait, Steve Kerr?
No, well, you know what I mean. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to go on there with that backfield.
It's getting cut. Ingram's going to rule the day. Might as well just drop Kamara. They're going to feed Mark Ingram. If you didn't guess, Mark Ingram's my team. Your thoughts against your brother next week, Matt? Or what are you saying about Melvin, Ben?
I thought Melvin had a solid game.
I saw him catch a touchdown early on, and then I went to bed.
Yeah, he kind of hopped over a defender and landed in the end zone. But looks like when playing his Wi-Fi is a bit spotty. But since we were on the game with him and his brother, I'll read through the lineups that are posted right now. For I got to have more cowbell, he's got Kirk Cousins, Antonio Brown, Jordy Nelson, Melvin Gordon, Jordan Howard, and Matt Prater, along with the New York Giants defense.
Well, let's just go side by side. So, Cam Newton versus Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Rams versus Buffalo.
The Rams and Newton versus Buffalo. Jeez. Yeah, I'm gonna go Newton there. Newton by a little margin.
All right, Mike 1, Matt 0. Antonio Brown versus Minnesota. Dustin Hopkins on Thursday night at Cincy.
No, I don't think it's Dustin Hopkins. If it's Dustin Hopkins,
yes.
Antonio Brown.
That could be a problem.
The nuke, DeAndre Hopkins.
That makes more sense.
Against Cincy, Antonio Brown against Minnesota. I'm going to say Cincy coming off just a terrible game and having to play Thursday. And with Deshaun Watson is starting for Houston Thursday, I'm going to say he leans on Nuke. So I'm going to go Nuke in this one.
Did we get confirmation Deshaun Watson starting?
I saw it. On Twitter. Yeah. So it looks like Watson's getting the start. And I think he's, like I said, he's going to lean on Nuke.
Poor Tom Savage.
Yep.
He didn't help. Sacked 6 times. Career's over.
He didn't really help himself there. So what's next on what's the next matchup
we
here?
got Jordy Nelson at Atlanta versus Adam Thielen at Pittsburgh. Sunday night.
I think I'm gonna go Jordy. I'm gonna go Jordy on that one.
Adam Thielen pretty sneaky though. He had a real nice game the other night.
Yeah,
He sure did.
but
He
they're
looked
up
good.
against Bergen.
Bradford looked unbelievable.
Yeah.
I did catch that one.
Simeon, and off him how he looked the other night.
Who did? Who?
Trevor Simeon?
Si-
You watched the game?
Simeon looked good last night.
I did. I saw the first quarter.
We're talking top 10 quarterback good.
Yeah.
But right now that's not saying a lot with the quarterbacks that are in the league.
So I
kind
did.
of a big drop off.
I did hear that argument. There's a bookie, not a bookie, but it's a guy. Do you ever hear of a Warren Sharp? He does a lot of analysis. He does a lot of statistical analysis, a lot of analytical metrics, all that sort of stuff. And he used to do it for Vegas Odd Makers, but now he's out there just doing it as his own. He's got his own proprietary stats, his own website. He wins more than he loses. Yada yada yada. His prediction coming into this season was that there was going to be a void in quarterbacks that are at some point very soon, because we had no one really young that's stepping up. I mean, who's the big guy that's going to be the next big thing? Is it Mariota? Is it Winston? You know, I'm not totally sure. Yeah,
Wentz.
maybe. Who looked good as well, by the way. Jeff and Emily taking him a little bit early, but he might pay off. And then, of course, you've got all these other guys who look good from the very start, from the get-go. You got Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, so on and so forth. Those guys are all about to fall off a cliff. So where's the production in the NFL coming from the quarterback? Who's going to be that star? Who are you going to point to? Who?
Here's what I say you do. You build your own line, and you just run the football.
A la Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Dak Prescott looks
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, Dak Prescott is his success is based off of that O-line and Zeke's running game. So
you do have a lot of running. So this year's running back class seems to be so far so good, right? Who knows? Last year's
pretty legit right now.
we had a couple hits last year, right?
Yeah, Howard was a hit,
Howard and Zeke.
and Zeke was obviously a major hit.
And maybe
So far
Go ahead.
this week you've got
You gotta talk about Kareem Hunt, right?
yeah you've got obviously that's not obvious Hunt with what he did.
Toledo, out of Toledo. You want to talk
Yeah.
about that for a second? Nichols and Emily coming up with that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew about him. It's
Just convenient with Spencer Ware going down. That's what really.
yeah. I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Spencer did well last year.
yeah. If Spencer
Yeah,
Ware
he's
goes
going
down,
right there.
I mean, you don't see Hunt with those numbers. I mean, he doesn't get the snaps.
No, he might be a satellite back, but Ware was pretty good out of the backfield too. So who knows? He might do. To your point, he might have done nothing this year. Here they are with a stud running back for at least this season. What do you do with Spencer Ware when he comes back? If you're Andy Reid or that team, do you?
You keep him because we know how safe a running back is.
Sure.
I mean, injuries are going to happen all the time.
So what does that do for Jeff and Emily? Do you keep Hunt if Spencer Ware's there?
I don't think Spencer Ware is just going to magically come back and be the guy if Hunt continues to put up the numbers that he
They're gonna
does.
give Hunt. He's gonna get his touches.
Yeah. So,
So you think he's the
not gonna
future in
change-
KC?
yeah, you're not going to change it if it's working. I mean, like, if Alex Smith continues to play like he did the other night, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I honestly, from what I saw from the Chiefs, like, that was an excellent performance. I
They
mean,
look legit.
like, if they do that, they don't have to do that every week and they'll win. They've got a decent defense. they have, obviously these younger weapons. Some of the wide receivers you've never even heard of, like really stepped it up in the game. I don't even remember the one guy's name, but
Albert Wilson?
I
Chris Conley?
well, there was another guy that grabbed a TD pass or a TD catch, but I can't remember his name. But Stat Douche is on it. But no, they seemed very well balanced with what they were doing.
And Tyreek Hill looks like he's hitting
Yeah,
so far. Sixth
he
game in a
just
row, was it, with a 16-plus
I
yard
mean,
play?
it's just a mismatch. What did they show? They showed. Did you guys see that graphic the other night? That the what was it? The 100 meters or whatever that he ran in high school.
Yeah.
He would have finished sixth in the Olympics
Uh,
final.
You think that's
That I mean, that's kind of gross if you think about it. I mean, if he would have wanted to go that route, I mean, the guy's probably a top 3 Olympic finisher.
the guy
You know,
did? He did
no,
nothing in college. I don't understand.
Harvey Hill.
How,
Well, he had some behavioral issues in college. That's
he
why
moved around. He went to where did he start? Oklahoma or
I don't really remember, but
he was at a big program, and then he went to community college, right?
West Alabama.
West Alabama, yeah. Ended up.
And Andy Reid how Andy Reid kind of brings in the guys that are having some trouble.
He loves those.
Found a gem, so and it seems like he's got his head screwed on tight now. So,
Well, let me keep you. Let's see what you think about the rest of this matchup between Mike and Matt. Then, so we got 2-1 Mike, Cam Hopkins versus Nelson right now. On that side, on the ledger right now. So we got Gordon and Dalvin Cook. Melvin Gordon, Dalvin Cook. Melvin versus Miami. Dalvin versus Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh.
I want to go Gordon there. Yeah.
2-2.
Melvin's home. Miami hasn't played yet. Had some time off, so.
Now you got Rob Kelly, who's in LA. And then you got the guy you were just shitting on, Jordan Howard at Tampa Bay.
I wasn't really shitting on him. I think you're going to see his production go down. I don't think he's going to get as many touches as he did last year. It's going to be more of like a thunder and lightning thing, I think, there. But I'm going to go Howard, even though he's not going to get as many carries. The dude's still good. He's going to get his touches.
I got to tell you, Kelly tore apart the Eagles last year, Evan. I'm sure you remember, but he didn't look great in that game on Sunday.
No one in Washington, I don't think, looked great.
The front four for the Rams are pretty decent with Aaron Donald and company.
Is he back? I don't know if he's back yet, but they look.
Oh, is he not playing?
He didn't play week 1, but
he's checking on it. I'm not sure.
Thanks, Stat Boy.
But either way, I think I go Howard there.
All right. Eifert versus Hunter Henry. Eifert's versus Houston on Thursday night. He's back, or was he there week 1? Did I miss that? All right. Hunter Henry versus Miami. So I'll recap: Eifert versus Houston on Thursday, or Hunter Henry versus Miami Sunday.
Well, both of them are non-existent. Hunter Henry, I don't even know. Did he even record a catch?
He didn't get a point.
Yeah, I don't even know if he recorded a catch.
Yeah, his hype train was.
Yeah, we already hit on just the issue with the Bengals. Like, gosh, I don't even know. I don't want to pick either one of them right now. I'm gonna go Hunter Henry just because I think the ability's there.
There you go. Choose a side. I like this.
I'm not going to rely on, Cincy going up against Houston's defense, who's pretty good. So,
we won't bother looking at the kickers, and then you got defenses. Giants versus Detroit. I don't know if there's anything there. And then Houston versus Cincinnati at Cincinnati on Thursday.
I think I take Houston.
New York Giants versus Detroit is Monday night, by the way.
Yeah, I think I'll take the Houston defense there.
Right. So, I mean, unless Jordy has Jordy and Brown, well, yeah, unless Jordy carries his team, it sounds like you're siding with Mike, the underdog.
No, well,
You got Hopkins.
I went Jordy Nelson, Gordon, Howard. So for Matt,
yeah, I guess your core positions you're going with Matt's side. So
yeah, so he's got one receiver, both running backs basically.
So
I don't think there's going to be a huge difference between Cousins and Newton, but I say Newton by a slim margin.
Is there a world where Matt doesn't start Antonio Brown this week against a strong Minnesota defense, puts Larry Fitzgerald against a weak Colts defense?
I might go Fitzgerald.
Yeah, think about that for a second. Minnesota, Xavier Rhodes and everything, they got some strong cornerbacks.
And Indianapolis got lit. Who'd they play?
Lit by the Rams, right? The LA Rams.
Jesus. Yeah.
I don't know.
By Jared Goff and company.
Jared Goff had a 300-yard plus game.
Now, but it's worth considering thinking about matchups.
We all know Mr. Matchup here, Stat Douche.
Hey,
that's how you win or lose.
That's how you win. That's how you get second place.
Yeah, you make the wrong moves in the final game.
Hey, Antonio Brown had that touchdown in the championship. You think that was a difference? We lost by 6.
Antonio Brown having a touchdown in the championship game?
No, the fucking difference was me starting Robbie Anderson over Sterling Shepard.
I like how you take ownership of it, but
yeah, he knows. I hear about it every week.
What? I hear about your fucking watch every week.
Well, it's still there.
All right. On that note, I don't know if we have any other topics. I think we've exhausted every topic for the entire season. I've got no more ideas. So.
Oh, we got plenty of stuff. Yeah,
we'll have more stats.
Something will come up. We can always highlight a game.
The Brown Doggers losing Allen Robinson. What's his plan for the season?
What do you say again?
Allen Robinson going down for the Brown Doggers.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know.
Team, right?
What's that?
Brown Doggers is our rookie owner, right?
Yeah, so let's take a second just to introduce them though too. So we have Ryan Vaughn. He's New York City or NYC Brown Doggers. Did he have Allen Robinson? Did he? Yeah, he does. He started him week 1. He's out for the season. He'll plug in Ginn. He's got Ted Ginn Jr. It was a solid pickup early on for him. He's got Zay Jones too. Who would you start this week, Evan? Ted Ginn versus New England, or Zay Jones at Carolina?
Yeah, I'd go Ted Ginn. I like Breeze. I don't think Buffalo, in my opinion, though, all the trades they made, they're trying to tank. I don't think they really want to win.
And then he's also got Travis Benjamin. I should mention that. He's got Travis Benjamin versus Miami. Maybe you think more highly of Travis than I do.
No, I don't. There's a lot of targets there in the Chargers. I just
for sure
hard to count somebody.
So Ryan Vaughn comes to us. He does live in New York. He is Matt McClain's and Mike McClain's brother-in-law. That's right. Is that the right? He's married to Matt's wife's sister. That still be brother-in-law?
It would not be Mike's brother-in-law. It'd be Matt's brother.
Yeah.
He's married to
Mike.
Mike's sister.
Yeah, I don't know how that all works out.
No relation to Mike.
He's a cool dude who just joined our league. And then we also got Joe Dominic, and I'm looking for his team. Where'd it
Joe some relation to you?
go? Say again?
Is Joe a relation to you?
No, he is a friend of Mike McLean's, and it's Dominic. I believe it's not Dominic. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah. What's his team?
Mikey
is a ginger, all hyphenated. There's an inside joke there somewhere. He's got.
Obviously, none of us know that.
He's got Matt Ryan at the top of his team. He has not lost anybody. What do you think of? He's got 2 older backs on his team. He'll get Ajayi back next week. He was out this week, post-game, postponed due to the hurricane. He's got DeMarco Murray and AP. What's that? What's that, Evan?
I said he probably would have started he would have definitely started Ajayi, I think, over Peterson. And he probably would have started Jackson over Tyrell Williams. So, I mean, he might have lost out on talent this week as far as with Hurricane.
And he did not pull it out last week.
No, he played me. We were in the same record. He didn't get to play Jackson or Ajayi. I also didn't get to play Winston.
He's also, Mikey as a Ginger is up against our luck of the draw, Days of Our Wives owner, who's got Kareem Hunt and landed Kenny Galladay, Babytron. Here's a stat that we could talk about. I saw Calvin Johnson's first game, 4 receptions, 70 yards and a TD. Okay. Galladay, 4 receptions, 69 yards and 2 TDs. They're calling him Babytron. I guess that's for a reason.
I like that name. So Joe comes to us. He lives out there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and hopefully we'll have the 2 of those guys on at some point, and they can expand upon why they think they deserve their place in this league and when they're going to earn it. Something to that effect. Stat Boy, any additional statistics here?
No, not off the top of my head.
Any corrections?
No, we're pretty plain.
There was one edit. The Football Guys podcast, I couldn't think of his host. It's Sigmund Bloom. Ben, you scored in 2013 in a win. Week 1. Was it? You scored 111.02 that week. High score, and you went on to win the championship. Of course, that was the stat. You're the only one who was the high-scoring team in Week 1 who went on to win a championship.
Oh, that was my score that week. Nice.
That's all I got.
When I'm a human fly, I spell L-Y. I say blah, and it's just because I'm a human fly, and I don't know why. I got 96 tears, 96 eyes. I got a garbage brain that's driving me insane.